Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Crazy day in LA. Today I'm outside, gonna give you a quick tour of our garden, along with some tips and stuff, just to hopefully encourage you to get outside and work in your garden. And maybe if you don't have a garden but you've been thinking about it, maybe encourage you to get to it. So, alright, let's go. Alright, so here we have our tomatoes. I got quite a few in, along with some more over here. And I'll take you in closer here in just a moment. We got some more to put in. We got some weeds to get pulled. I'll address some of that here in just a moment, after I give you a tour. So these are the Roma tomatoes. These are a determinate variety. Try to get in here and show you. Got them growing. They're looking fantastic. Super excited with all the tomatoes that we got coming on here. And by a determinate variety, it means they have a predetermined size that they will reach to. And we got lots of flowers on here. A lot more fruit that's going to be producing real soon. It probably won't be too long before we'll be harvesting some tomatoes, I would say. But that just means that they're going to get to a certain size. Now down here we've got some indeterminate tomatoes, and they're not quite as big yet. In fact, this little one down here, I did not even think it was going to make it, and here we have it, and it made it. We've got these ones, and these are going to be the cherry tomatoes. They're, like I said, they're an indeterminate variety, so they're going to get pretty large. We'll be getting some better. Right now I just got a few tomato cages in front of them so they don't fall over. And we'll be making some trellises for these probably in the next week. In the background here you can see we've got a compost. My husband just took some old pallets for me and put them together for the compost in the garden. Down here we've got some yellow pear tomatoes, some orange honeycomb tomatoes, and we've got one beefsteak tomato. And I believe there's at least one other cherry tomato down here. And then we've got a whole handful of sweet 100s. Those are also a cherry tomato variety, and those are going to be being put in the garden probably this weekend, if not Monday. Down here I want to show you though something real quick. So you see there's some weeds and stuff down here, but if I get a good view here with my camera, this is one that just came up on its own. I try to rotate where I put the crops and stuff, but there's certain areas that I found certain crops do better in than others. So I try to give lots of food and stuff to these areas, so that way they'll continue to produce. Where if you don't, then you got to rotate them, otherwise you'll have trouble. But when you're home gardening, it's gonna be a little different than when you're used to gardening, like out in a field, say. So yeah, so we got some that are coming up on their own. I may keep them in, I may not. This is kind of in the walkway, so I'll probably just pull it. I'm not sure what variety it is. So we'll see. I'm going to show you an area of the garden that most people on here, if they, and I'm trying to angle, this sun is really, man, it's bright out today. Feels good out here though. They probably wouldn't show you in their garden, but I'm going to show you because I want to address it, and I want to encourage you with it. I've been gardening on this particular property we've had for about 3 years now, and previously I was gardening in containers and had great success with it. Before that, when I was a kid, I gardened with my grandparents. Most of that though was just like flowers and things like that. I progressed to produce and things like that as I got older and learned more. And that's the thing, there's a learning curve, like there is with anything. So don't get discouraged with when there's learning curves. Personally, I don't believe in a green thumb. That's just, don't come at me. That's just my personal belief. I don't believe in green thumbs. I believe, just like with any thing else that you learn to do, that's the key. You're learning. You're not going to get it probably your first try. If you do, good for you. Maybe you're a quick learner. But typically, there's a lot that goes into gardening. One of those things is going to be the fact that, and I apologize, of course the train would come by when I'm trying to do a video, but a lot of that comes with just taking the time to learn. I've spent a lot of time reading lots of books, watching lots of videos, and I've been gardening now for a total of probably about 25 to 30 years, if you count from the time that I was a kid that I started gardening with my grandparents. On my own, I've been gardening for about 20 to 25 years. But like I said, this is a new property. We've only had it for 3 years. So we're still cultivating the garden area and stuff, and there's a lot that goes to it. When we bought this property, the ground was awful. It was just awful. It was just grass, but I wanted a garden in there. I could vision it. I could see it. But I knew it was going to take some time. It wasn't going to happen overnight. And in this economy, unless you got a lot of money, it's not going to happen overnight. But there are some things that you can do that'll save some money in the long haul, and you don't have to put out a lot of money every year. Don't try to do that. Don't hurt yourself, because you're going to get overwhelmed and stressed, and then you're going to stop gardening, and you're not going to find the joy in it. If you can't find joy in it, just like any other thing, then you're not going to continue it. So don't get discouraged. Just do a little at a time. That's what we've done with our garden. Is I'm going to give a full panel of the garden later, and it's pretty large. I'm sure there are many others that have a lot larger garden, and this is just the main garden. I've got other areas where I've got some fruit trees and stuff, but don't get discouraged with it. Like I said, we tried to till this ground a couple times. There was a house on this property, is what we were told previously, before the owners that we bought it from purchased it, and there was so much junk in the ground. I mean, we picked up so much tile. Maybe I'll put a photo at the end of the video. Watch for it at the end of the video, because I'm going to show you. We pulled so much junk out of the ground that it's a wonder anything grows in the ground. But it's taken time. We've added a lot of compost. I do everything as organically as humanly possible for my situation. I'm by no means proclaim that my garden is 100% organic, because I'm sure there's things that I use that other people who do organic gardening would say, we don't use that. And I think it's just each person. But for us, we use a lot of compost. I've added straw, mulch, hay, different things, cardboard, that help with the quality of the dirt. And where the tomatoes that I showed you just a minute ago was, and maybe I'll show you here in just a second again, it was not good soil at all. I was so excited this year when I dug. I decided to do a different method this year. I did a trench behind and pulled the dirt up. Maybe I'll do a video sometime on that. But it was a new technique that I learned from watching some other people. And I love it. It's great personally. But anyhow, but I was so excited to see how rich the soil was when I began to dig this time. I still found some stuff in the ground. It's going to happen. But I could see how much better quality the soil was this year compared to when we first started on this property. So don't get discouraged with it. Just know that, if you got a large garden and you find that the soil or the ground's not quite what you thought, and it's going to take a lot more work, and it's going to take a lot more effort to it, then simply just do a section at a time. Let it build itself up. Don't get discouraged. Don't say, well, that's not part of the garden yet. Yeah, it's part of the garden. It's a working part of the garden. I have so many bees and butterflies and stuff that come in my garden. pollinators of all sorts, and they just all work kind of together, and so I don't get discouraged with it. But I'm going to show you this real quick. So this is right here in front of the compost bin. You're going to see there's a lot of weeds, a lot of ground cover, some grass. Most of it's actually weeds though. Back here you can see the apple trees that we put in the garden this year. We've got a Honeycrisp and a Red and Delicious. And they're not real big yet. That's okay. I'll show you later. I've got one little bitty apple on the Honeycrisp apple tree. But we just put them in this spring. They'll get bigger over the years. Again, it's just one of those things where just over time it gets better and better. You can see where I've got some cardboard down, where I've tried to block some of the weeds out. Just heads up, if you've got extra cardboard boxes laying around, take all the plastic and anything else off of them, lay them out in the garden, and they'll help kill out some of your weeds. But unfortunately, I didn't get to this before the weeds came back up. I actually had, this was all dirt just a few days ago, but we've had a lot of rain and then sunshine, and so the weeds have come back up. But I'll get that all cleared out probably within the next week or two. So I'm not stressing about it, but it's just one of those things where, you know, it's learning. But then all the cardboard you can just throw in your compost. I do not do a turn compost, so I do not turn the compost. I just keep it moist so it doesn't get too hot, and I just let it break down on its own. I'm going to show you real quick. So here you can see where it was actually up to here, and now it's down here. It's come clear down, and that's just from adding water and making sure there's plenty of brown and green matter in there, and it'll break down over time. I'm not looking to have fresh soil out of it real quickly. Everybody's different, like I said. That's just how I've chosen to do it. I want to keep gardening enjoyable and not worry about, but while we're this way, I'll take you over here and show you these trees we put in this year. They're really nice. I'm really excited about it. And like I said, I got one little apple here. It's just a little bitty thing. You can see by my finger here. It's small. It's not big. I don't even know that it's going to get to full size. It probably won't. It's been that size for a little while now, but I'm still learning about apple trees, so it might get bigger. I don't know. I'll find out, I'm sure. And then I still have stuff that sometimes will come up out of the garden from, like I said, this was a lot of stuff, so like there's plastic and stuff that I'll take care of, throw it all away. This one is the Red and Delicious apple tree. It's still got lots of growing, some buds coming up here. So we'll see how it does this year. They say they can produce the first year. I'm not stressing if they don't. It was a long-term investment, not a short-term. And then if you look, there's some weeds coming up now between, because like I said, we've had a lot of rain and all, and I don't like using chemicals and stuff in the garden. I'll use organic stuff, but that pretty much sums it up. Beyond that, I won't use anything. So I don't know if you can see by the video. If I get down here, you can see. So we got lots of corn coming up. This is our kind of our little cornfield back here. When I counted them the other day, we had over 50 ears of corn coming up, so I was pretty excited about that. But again, you're going to see right here where there's some weeds and stuff coming back up. I'll get that all cleared out. I'll be putting some stuff probably back here in the next week or so. So some clippers still sitting over here where my son was cutting out some big weeds that had come up in the garden. Right here, okay, so this is our red raspberry bush. It's pretty bushy, but it's not as bushy as the other one I'm going to show you here in a minute. Raspberries, you really only need like one or two. If you're willing to give it a little bit of time, because they're going to produce every year. They produce what they call canes. So each one of these is a cane. These ones are semi-thornless, but they're still got thorns on them. But they'll produce red, but they will go 9 feet in every direction. So sometimes you're going to want to cut them out just to keep them at bay. Just a heads up, but I'll show you right here. So this is my yellow raspberry bush, and it, oh, as you can see, it's already started sending out canes quite a ways out. But I actually bought these on clearance at the end of the year. I bought these on clearance, and look how good they are. I mean, these are 2 years old. I bought them on clearance. I didn't think they were gonna make it through the winter. I bought them right before winter, and I mean, look, I mean, they're doing fantastic. I just mulched them real good, and now they look fantastic. Now, when I tell you I use mulch, I buy the pine that doesn't have the chemicals and stuff on it. Now, in the walkways, I will use the stuff that have chemicals, but anywhere where I know I'm gonna plant, I don't. And I know some people would say, you know, that's where I said I don't necessarily follow everything that everybody says. But around things like this, I don't do that typically. So every once in a while it'll flow over, but usually I get the stuff that's not got a bunch of chemicals. These are blueberry bushes. They're just about done producing for the year. There's a few stragglers still on here that I actually can pick some now and show you. So this one is done. I actually prefer to pick them when they look more like this one right here. So let's see if I can get the camera to, there we go. So it's like purplish blue. So you want to get them while they still got a little purple on them. If you get them while they still got a little purple on them, they will finish turning in the house, and your birds won't steal all your blueberries. So it's just a thought. You can do it how you feel to do it, but that's how I do it. Over here, again, this one's just about done. We got a few blueberries on here that are ready. These have a little bit of it's a different variety. It's got a little bit of a pink on it. They're not the pink champagne ones though, because they do get to blue. I can't remember the exact variety on these, but they're very delicious. Very, very sweet. And so see, we got some more blueberries. And like I said, I will pick them just a little bit early, just because otherwise your birds are going to steal them. You'll see also from this angle, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can go close. We've got some issues with some Japanese beetles around here. I'm getting ready to get bags put out. You just put them a few feet away from where they're at, and it'll collect them, and it's just a natural way to get rid of them, and it don't require a bunch of chemicals and stuff. Like I said, I don't like to use chemicals. So this is our third blueberry bush. Again, it's about done producing, and we'll see. You can see where the raspberries actually started growing in between. You can see that there. The raspberries are starting to come up between them. I'm going to have to pull those so they don't overtake the blueberry bush, because I want the blueberry bush to do really well. Again, this is an area where I'm working right now. There's some ground cover here. These are a couple of tires. We use those for raised beds. Again, I know some people that wouldn't do that, but I clean them and make sure that they're well, and then I put organic matter in them, and dirt and compost and stuff, and they do phenomenal to use for grow. But right now, just weeds and stuff. This is just still an area that, along with that, that's like all an area that's still being worked on this year. I'm going to take it in part of the garden now that we've really done a lot with. There's some weeds in here, but nothing compared to what was over there. So these are our broccoli plants. We don't have any heads yet. Last year we did not even make it this far, so again, learning curve. We're doing a lot better with the broccoli this year. I've got hope that we will have some broccoli. If you look down here, I put some straw. If you can see, let me pull this back here and show you. Put straw down here because broccoli likes the cool weather, not the hot weather we're getting right now. And so that'll help keep them cooler, keep the moisture a little better. Your green beans are the same way. I've got right here some king green beans, and then I've got some Blue Lake bush green beans right here. Having a little bit of issues here, but I'll pull some of those leaves, and we'll still produce quite a few green beans on here with time. Probably need to put a little food as well. Over here, we've got some pepper plants. They are doing fantastic. I'll be moving some of this mulch that's on in between them pretty soon, and we'll have some carrots coming up. I actually can start seeing some carrot tops coming up. You probably can't see them on the video here. plan on investing in a better camera here real soon. But there's some coming up in there, and I know a lot of people say, oh, they won't poke through, stuff like that. If you put it thin enough, they will. You can always clear it out later. Personally, we're into the hot. Carrots like the cool. I'm willing to take my chances. Appears that quite a few are actually coming through, so I think I may just leave it as it is. But carrots and bell peppers and other peppers do really well together. They're good to put together. Here we've got our mini Persian cucumber plants. Now this is a trellis that my husband a few years ago built me for the tomatoes, but the tomatoes they were too much for it. This is more of a vining crop, and so they're doing fantastic. They're kind of overtaking it as well. We might add to it or do something with it different. I kind of change it up from year to year, but I'll show you here real quick some of the produce. You can see there's quite a few coming up here. A lot of flowers. We've got a lot of cucumbers. Here's another cucumber over here, and there's quite a few over here. In fact, there's some that we're going to be probably picking later today, it looks like. And then if you come next to it, we've got our semi-spineless green garden zucchini. I'll show you one that, like I said, we had rain and we're just past the holiday, and we missed these. I'm gonna have to pick these. I don't know. We'll see if this is any good or not. But this thing is, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but this thing is huge, and they don't typically get that big. I got another one over here. Same thing. It is just absolutely huge, and lots more already growing on it. But I want to pick them because if I don't get them picked, it'll stop producing pretty soon. There's that, and then in here we got strawberries. Most of them are about picked for right now. They're sending out more, and that's fine. We'll see. Any that come out of this container, though, I will pick, because otherwise they will take over your garden. This is a flower that we bought on clearance. It's going to need a little bit of work, but I actually see a bunch of fresh leaves coming up on it, so we might be actually okay. These are the old leaves, you can see, but there's a lot of fresh new leaves, so I think we're actually alright. This is catnip. I do a lot of herbs in my garden, because a lot of them help with different pests and stuff. I will need to trim them out, though, because I don't know if you can see this. They're going to start flowering, and that's okay, but I don't want all that flowering, so I'm going to clip some of that, and then I'll be processing this some of this in the dryer. I'll leave some of it, process some of it in the dryer, give it away to some friends and stuff that have cats. My cat don't actually like it, so it's just crazy. She likes the stuff from the store, but she will not take my stuff from the garden. I don't know why. She just doesn't, but other people's cats love it, so you probably won't be able to see because we got some grass coming up that I'm going to have to trim back. But down in this trench behind the tomatoes, they're really small, so you probably can't see, but we do have some herbs coming up back behind here. We got some basil, some parsley, and some other yummy herbs that we'll be able to use later this year in our garden. Yeah, I almost missed it because I was showing you the zucchini. Beside it, I've got a little bitty cantaloupe down here, and it's actually doing pretty good. Something's eating on it, probably those beetles. So I'll get some stuff on it, get some more mulch around it, so it'll stay cool for the summer, because they like the cool water as well. We've got a peach tree. When we bought it, I'll show you a tree we just put in this year. It was about the size of the tree that we put in this year. This is a peach tree. It's doing really good. In fact, it's doing so well, it's going to have to be trimmed this year to let some air through. It's only been in for about 2 years now, so it's not going to produce quite yet, and it looked like it might produce. I'm going to move over here. Like I said, that sun earlier, that sun is just, woo, it's bright. Let me tell you what. Get over here in the shade a little bit under the gazebo. It's only been in for a couple years, and like I said, I showed you, it's bigger than me now. They don't take long. But we had a cold snap. We're here in Indiana, and Indiana weather is crazy. I know it is other places too, but it's definitely crazy here. And it We had a cold snap. It was producing. We kind of had like a fall spring, if you will, and it started to bloom, and it killed every one of the blooms. So hopefully in the next year or two we'll get some peaches and stuff. But I'm gonna do a little more research, see what else I can do with it to make it do even better. But I do know how to prune it properly. It's gonna get pruned back this fall. You don't want to do it right now in the middle of summer. You'll cause more disease, more problems and issues than what you might already have. Do not prune your stuff if all possible in the summer. Wait till fall, early spring, late winter, somewhere in that process. Do not do it in the summer. You can scorch it, but you also can cause more issues. You can invite pests that you didn't have into your garden. So I do not recommend it at all. Just leave it. It'll be okay. Leave it. Keep it watered. If you're having a lot of dry days right now, we've had kind of back and forth. Before we had a major drought. Now we're getting some rain in between, and a lot of sunshine in between. So they're growing like crazy. And like I said, this tree has gotten a lot bigger than me. I am a little over 5 foot. It's taller than me. My husband's almost 6 foot. It's taller than him. It's over 6 feet tall now. I'd say it's probably getting close to 7 feet. So they get big really fast. You can worry about trimming them and taking care of them. It's got a lot of fresh growth on it. It's doing fantastic. So just give it time. Just give it time. Don't worry about it. But I'm going to show you. I'm going to flip this around. And I'm going to show you the apricot tree that we put in this year. And it's the size that our peach tree was when we put it in. And so I want to show you how much it grew just since I put it in last spring. And this is actually grown since I put it in. But this is probably about the size of what it was when I put in that peach tree. So let me show you. Peach tree, again, ignore the weeds behind it. I'm going to address that, like I said, here in a minute. This is the apricot tree. Sorry, I just said peach tree. I was talking to you about the peach tree. This is an apricot tree. It is a disease-resistant one. I love the coloration. It's got like some pink tips on it and stuff. It's so pretty. But it's not very big. It's not much taller than my fence here. And then I'll pan back over because down the way is the peach tree. And the peach tree is well over the gate there. And so we went from this to that in less than 2 years. So, so don't get discouraged. Your trees will do well. It just takes a little bit of time. Over here I've got a butterfly bush in my yard. It actually was in the yard when I purchased the house. I had to do some research on it because I wasn't sure what it was. They didn't have a tag or nothing on it. And so I had to do, I downloaded an app. There's apps, by the way, that you can download on your phone and so forth that'll tell you what different plants and stuff are. It's great. It's great to have those on your phone, especially when you're first starting out, so first learning. And if you come across something you're not sure what it is, even when you're like at the garden center, sometimes they don't label things right. If you got a local garden center, I would trust those more than like places. I won't send out names being on here like this, but you know what I'm talking about. Your box stores, okay? If you own your box stores, unless you know for positive what you're looking at, have an app on your phone. It'll tell you for sure what it is. Some of them cost. There's some free ones out there that are good too. It'll give you an idea of what you're looking at. That way, I have a story that was told to me when I was a kid that my grandfather purchased what he thought was a peach tree and ended up being a cherry tree. Oh, sorry, I actually got that backwards. He thought it was a cherry tree, ended up being a peach tree. And he did not like peaches. He wanted cherries. And, yeah, so, and that was years ago. So, know what plant you're buying. But these are great to have. The butterflies and even the bees love these clusters here. The flowers, they love those different clusters. I see bees and butterflies on this all the time, especially in the morning and early evening. They really like this bush. All I do with this particular bush is I actually just mow it over in the fall. I actually just mow the whole thing over and it comes back up. It's already gotten this big, and it'll be even bigger come fall. So, and it just does fantastic. It starts producing real early on, and I really enjoy it. It's good to have flowers and stuff in your garden. Over here, I've got a shade tree that we put in. We put in a memorial garden over here. It's got some work still to be done. The weeds like to take it over real quick. But trying to come up with a solution on some of that. I think it's just a location of it. But, and there's more, like I said, I want to do to it. And this grass has got to get mowed again. But this is a shade tree I put in. It's already grown since last year. It's about a little taller than me now. And actually, it wasn't even quite that big first of the spring. It's already grown quite a bit. And we got a little bird feeder in here as well. So have plenty of plants, other flowers and stuff in your garden for the bees and the pollinators and stuff, and your produce and stuff will do so much better in your garden. So that's most of our garden. I'm not going to show you the greenhouse today. I'll show you that another day. We just put the greenhouse in last year. It's just a simple little greenhouse. We'll get out of the sun here because that sun is bright. So it we just did we put in last year. It's just one from the store. It's not anything special, but we did take and build up like a patio to put it on, and put a table back there and stuff to make it easier and whatnot. But there's a lot more work to be done on it, so I'm not going to show it to you yet. I want to get it done and then I'll show it to you. But we do have an area that I do a lot of our plants and stuff and everything. And I'll talk to you in another video about like how I start seed and when I start seed and why I do the way that I do. But for this video, just showing you the garden. I have a lot of other places in the garden that I have flowers throughout the yard and stuff. Yes, I invite birds into my yard. That's a whole nother video. But they're not bad for your yard. That's a false narrative. They have their place and their purpose in the garden as well. Yes, it stinks when they take your berries or whatever, but they do have their place in the garden. So just a little tip there. We'll go into that in another video. But yeah, so that's the garden right now. I'm going to show you, or I'm going to try to show you a front pan of what the garden looks like. And then I'm going to talk to you real quick and address some of the weeds and stuff in the garden, and just kind of what my solution there is on that and my thoughts on that. So, alright, let me show you this garden here. So this is the garden here. You can see there's your tomatoes, the compost. We've got trees back there, corn further back. You get your zucchini, your cantaloupe, cucumbers, carrots and peppers. Behind that are the green beans and the berry bushes and so forth. And there's a lot more room in that garden that I can put more in, actually, just in that garden. I've got a lot more yard I could actually play with to put a lot more in. But again, I don't want to get overwhelmed, so I'm just dealing with what I got right now, and we'll continue to grow it over the years. So that's the garden. That's what we have so far. Like I said, there's a lot of flowers and stuff I haven't shown you that I have throughout the yard and so forth. Maybe I'll show you that in another video, but that's the actual garden. We got a lot of food going in there. I've already picked quite a bit just this year, and I've really only had the garden in now for about 6 weeks. About 6 or 7 weeks is all I've had the garden in. And I did not plant my seed until April. And like I said, I'll go into that in another video. But so there's a lot growing right now for the time of year it is. There'll be a lot more going into the garden. Every year I add a few perennials. I do think that perennials are important in the garden. Again, that's another video. We'll go into that. But definitely have a little bit of combination of everything. They play hand in hand, and they really make your garden so much better. Also, with perennials, you're going to get harvest a little bit sooner, especially if you put in berry bushes, which is fantastic. I'm actually going to be adding more in the coming years. I follow the garden channel. If you do not follow that, check it out. Look it up. Just type in the garden channel. You'll find it. It's a gentleman from Jersey. Does a fantastic job. He really gives a lot of education on gardening and stuff. I definitely encourage you to follow him as well. I'm not here making videos trying to be the top dog. I'm not the top dog. maybe got 10, 15 followers at this point. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Just do this for fun. I want to share with you what the Lord has placed on my heart. And I really enjoy the garden. I really think that's a big part of gardening. Don't get discouraged if you got weeds and stuff in your garden. Weeds are part of gardening. That's what I wanted to tell you about the weeds. It's part of gardening. You're always going to have weeds. And if you have a very large garden and there's parts of your garden that you're not really working in right now, they're going to come up fast. And if you're getting a lot of rain and sunshine in between, they're going to come up even faster. And sometimes they're going to get crazy. I focus on the weeds that are close to my plants first. Then I get to the rest of it. When I get to it, I get to it. I don't stress about it. They're not hurting anything by being there. That's a misconception. They're not hurting your garden. Most of those weeds are around a couple of fruit trees I just put in this year. So I really don't have any other plants in that area. A lot of people plant fruit trees in fields and just leave the grass and they just mow it. And so it's not going to hurt the fruit trees. It's not going to hurt my compost. In fact, as I do get them ripped out and stuff, I just throw them into the compost. I know some people don't think you should do that. Again, everybody's different, and that's fine. I do it. I find it adds to it. It breaks down. It's part of the garden. So don't stress if you got a lot. And if you have a plant that you've been trying to grow, don't get discouraged if you haven't been able to get it to work yet. It's a learning curve. Learn. Take time. When you're not gardening, watch some videos. Read some books. There's a lot of books. Go to your local library. As a homeschool mom, I love our local library. We spend a lot of time in our local library. They have a lot of events and stuff, and it's great to be able to check it out. So go check out some books. Read some books. Do some research. Just like anything else, you got to take the time for it. If you don't take the time for it, you're not going to learn. Find your purpose in it. Find your joy in it. For me, I don't keep a lot of what I grow. I actually give a lot of it away. We keep what we need, and I give the rest away. And that's where my joy is. I really enjoy being able to give back out of my garden. It's just something I enjoy doing, and I get to give, and I'm a giver, and so I really enjoy getting to give that stuff away. And so, like anything else, you can teach an old dog new tricks, okay? I've learned a lot, just in the last couple of years, even more than I knew before. So there's just more and more learning to be done, and so don't get discouraged. The other thing I want to add before I close out this video is have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Just enjoy it. Don't let somebody say, well, you just don't have a green thumb. I just don't believe in it. I just do not believe in it. I've never really taken the time to learn about plants inside. I cannot grow a plant inside. I've tried. But I didn't put a lot of effort into it. Let me put it that way. Okay? I didn't really find the joy of the plants in my house. I have animals, kids. It was one more thing to deal with in the house. I didn't want to deal with it. So, the ones I've had, they died. Like I said, I didn't do research. I didn't learn. But yet, I've always loved piano. And in the last year and a half, I've learned a lot on the piano. I did not previously. I cannot read music. I was never taught how to learn music. And I've learned how to play the piano even in the last year. Now, I don't play fancy. I've not learned all that yet. I've only been doing it for a year and a half, and I'm still learning. And I probably only spend a week between videos and playing 4 or 5 hours. And if I really wanted to be like a professional player, most of those people, they'll tell you they spend hours, that many hours probably a day, not a week, on learning. And the same goes with anything else. So if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to learn it. You're not going to be able to do it. Just because you don't have the pursuit to want to learn it. You got to have the pursuit to want to learn it. And yet, just the little bit of time I've taken on piano, I've learned. Which proves if you can just take a little bit of time, you'll learn more. Each week, each month, you learn more. Apply that knowledge. Continue it. And the garden goes the same way. You can learn if you really want to. If you don't, then you don't. It's not for everybody, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody has to garden. Not everybody has to homeschool. Not everybody has to do everything. We work together. We work together. And that's why I enjoy giving stuff out of my garden, because I know not everybody enjoys gardening. It's a lot of work. It is. It's a lot of work. It is not an easy task. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of knowledge. And so don't get discouraged. I hope this encouraged you to get out and garden, to go not be discouraged by your garden if maybe your garden's not doing quite as well as you want. Do a little research about your plants. Find out what zone you're in. Make sure you know your first and last frost dates when you're gardening. The gentleman that I told you go follow him. He talks about that. Know what plants need what food. What do you need in the garden? Get a thing to test your soil. You can do it yourself. It costs a little money, but you can do it yourself. You don't have to. It does help though. But just have fun. Have fun. Grow what you can grow. If you don't want to learn how to grow something else yet, then don't grow it. Just stick to what you're good at. I don't eat a lot of tomatoes, and yet that's probably my best crop. I usually have boxes and boxes and boxes of tomatoes. I like stuff that's made with tomatoes, but I don't like the tomatoes themselves too much. Nobody in the family really does either. I just enjoy giving them away and making some stuff with them. So, and it's, like I said, it's one of the best crops that I grow. This year so far, my cucumbers are doing fantastic. They have the last couple of years. I tried zucchini this year. It's the first time zucchini. I showed you how big they are. I gotta get them picked. Broccoli, I've tried 3 years in a row. This year is the first year they actually look halfway decent. I sprayed some BT around them. I was having some issues with some pests. BT is a great one if you're having issues with certain pests. Again, you gotta do some research. Neem oil helps as well. Those are all natural things you can use in the garden. I know some gardeners will not use it even, and that's fine. That's your choice. But I do use those things. Yeah, they're looking really good. So, we'll see how they do. So, more updates to come soon. Be sure to like and follow and subscribe to our channel for more content. The more likes and followers we get, the more traffic we get. It has to do with the algorithm. It'll allow you to see more of my videos. So that's why I say don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and thank you for watching. God bless. Maybe crazy. That's okay. Go follow us on Facebook. I talk about that. Alright. Have a good day.